everyone, and welcome to another week's edition of Discovery with me, Glory. So today I'm going to be talking about something that I really don't have any experience in, but it's something that I'm going through currently, and I thought I'd share with you guys. So I've been, like many of you who probably been following my blog for a while know that I have a normal 9 to 5, as well as Inspired by Glory, which is my women empowerment platform. But I've been contemplating transitioning from my normal, conventional 9 to 5 workspace into doing Inspired by Glory full time. And it's something I've been discussing with a lot of friends. And I realized that a lot of people are in that transition or have gone through that transition or are about to go through that transition. And by transition, I mean transitioning from a normal 9 to 5 to either working in the creative space or owning your own company or being an entrepreneur. So today I'm going to be sharing some of the tips I've learned from people, and I'm hoping to one day have the boldness to implement. So top tips for transitioning into an entrepreneur. Okay, so my first tip, like a lot of people, some people are able to just quit and then go and start. But for some people that are a bit more timid and a bit more used to comforts, like the comfort of a monthly salary, like myself, I suggest starting a side hustle. So maybe you have a 9 to 5 job, and you're thinking of going to start your own business. As long as your current, or rather the future business you want to start, and your current employment, there's no conflict of interest. So for example, if you are a consultant, I wouldn't suggest that you start diverting clients from your company to your own personal business. But if there are two separate streams, I would suggest starting a side hustle. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years. Inspired by Glory has been a side hustle, and I think it's very useful because you can learn or make the mistakes now where you have the comfort of a salary to sort of tide you over. And also you can look at your 9 to 5, your conventional 9 to 5, as an investor in your startup as well. So it helps you to balance both worlds and also to look at, learn some lessons before you go into it, entrepreneurship full time. The second tip, which I learned from a friend of mine called Uzo Remalade, is to have savings. Uzo saved her yearly income plus tax. So she went and let's say she was earning 10 million. She saved 10 million naira. Within, I think it was a year and a half or a year before she went into her business full time. So I think that helps not only to have a nest egg, but also to have something to fall back on when those rainy days come. So the third tip is to understand the risks, because I think many people, they just jump into entrepreneurship because now it's actually trendy to say you work for yourself now. So most people are like, okay, I am an entrepreneur. You quickly go and print those cards, you quickly go and do this. But people don't understand and quantify the risks. Now, what do I mean by that? So understand what are the potential risks in this new business venture you're going for, because there will be risks, and quantify them. So understand how can you avoid some of these risks, how can you transfer them, and how can you hedge against some of these risks. So one of the obvious ones is that nobody buys your products. Once you've understood the risks and you've quantified them and you understand how you can, either transfer or avoid some of these risks, the other thing to do is understand the market you're going into, which is why also starting a side hustle might be useful, because then you understand who your potential clients will be, you understand how to value your product or value your services and how much you should charge, you understand your competitors and what your unique selling point is compared with your competitors. I think that's very, very important, because sometimes some people, they just jump in and then you realize that there are so many questions you haven't asked. And that's another point. Talk about it. Everybody is so afraid that somebody is going to steal their idea, somebody is going to do this, somebody is going to do this. But really, you should have a trusted set of people or even mentors. And, mentors, sometimes people think that mentors is maybe Dangote is my mentor, Tony Olumelu is my mentor. Your mentor is simply somebody who is doing something that you want to do. So it can be the next person, your neighbor, who is in that line of business and can offer you some tips. So I would say, talk about it. Tell people what you want to do. Ask them for advice. Write it all down. A lot of people say, have a business plan and all of that. Some people, it might not be easy, especially if you don't have a business degree or you don't necessarily have that capital to go and get a proper business plan. But I would say certainly talk about it, get some advice, and document your strategy. Have a plan. That's the most important thing. Say, what do I want to achieve in the next 3 months? What do I want to have achieve in the next 6 months? So once you've done all that, once you've spoken about it, I would say start to get the legal part in place. So do you need to register your company? Do you need a company account? All those little stuff, because obviously they also come with certain costs. And also, do you need, I don't think, a lot of times people want to have an office space, but right now I think, that's, especially for a startup, sometimes it can be a waste of much needed capital. So either consider sharing office space with somebody or working from your bedroom. And when you have a meeting, go to Tantalizers and have your meeting, or go somewhere. Actually, Sweet Sensation, they have really, though I'm not advertising for them, but there are lots of eateries that have like small cubicle meeting spaces that you can have a nice meeting at. And also, I think as much as possible, it's very important to have some quick potential revenue streams. So either have some clients that you are either sure of some work coming from them, or some product that you're about to launch. Because I think if you are leaving paid employment and you're going to go and start setting up and all of that, the challenges might be a bit too much, especially financially, to cope with. So especially if you haven't got a robust savings plan to, head you along your way. So I would suggest, so for example, for me now, I'm thinking of some products I can launch just as I, hand in my resignation. Don't tell my boss. Just as I decide to leave, I'm thinking of some things I can launch that will provide some revenue stream. And it will also help to encourage you and give you that boost and that confidence. And then finally, like I said before, this is still something I'm thinking about. I'm just sharing these tips from what people have told me and I'm about to implement. But I think the most important thing is a lot of people have told me to be prepared for the journey of an entrepreneur. It might seem glamorous when you see people give you their business card, but apparently it's very, very tough, and there are a lot of very low days that don't necessarily have to do with finances. So it can also be about building your team and how difficult it is to get the right people around you that have the same vision and the same work ethic as you. That can also be very daunting. And it's something you should obviously look into when you're starting your business. So I would say be prepared, do a lot of reading, a lot of researching, a lot of talking, a lot of seeking for advice. I wish you the best on your entrepreneurial journey, and I hope you're wishing me the best as well. Until next week, it will be me, Glory Edozian, sharing some of my life's discoveries. Don't forget to like or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Inspired by Glory, and send me an email with your tips or share in the comment section. My email is glory@inspiredbyglory.com. Bye!